Hey, listeners. My name is Elisha, the founder of the Witnesses podcast. It's so beautiful to have you listening to our podcast. And I want you to know something that means a whole lot to me. Thank you for tuning in. And one thing I love to tell all of our listeners is it's not just about you listening, but listening to understand. Understanding is the most important thing. So important. So, you have to listen, learn, and practice. Thank you so very much and happy listening.
Hi, John. It's so nice to have you on the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me, buddy.
Yeah, that's so good. Okay, oftentimes I love to talk about the essence of the show, which is to invite amazing guests, amazing guests like John to come talk to us about their triumphant stories. Because we believe that in our audience, there might be some people who are stuck up in same situation John came out of triumphantly. So by those people getting to listen to you speak, they might actually pick some information, from the ones you'll be saying here today, which may lead to their transformation. So it's all about transforming lives, transformation, and all of that. Okay, John, within the next few minutes, let us get started with your story, the challenges that you faced, and how you overcame them. And afterwards, I've got some four beautiful questions for you. Okay, John, over to you.
Great.
All right, John, let us get started with your story, the challenges that you face, and how you've.
That's awesome. You said you had a question for me, or you're looking for me to
Yeah,
go ahead and
yeah.
share some stuff?
Afterwards, then I throw you those questions. But now, talk to us about the story, the challenges that you faced, and how you overcame them. You got that?
Okay, great. Yeah. Well, man, one, great to get to chat with you. Thanks for having me on the show. I think you know, my challenges are, not unique to me, but shaped me in a very interesting way. I grew up in the United States, in Middle Tennessee, and my parents got married young, and they got divorced. A couple of years after I was born, and I think that unfortunately, growing up without my parents together has shaped me in a lot of ways. It's again not unique to me, but tragic and hard in a lot of ways. And part of that led me down a path of both my parents really wrestled to find solid footing in their own life. And as a kid, you go on that journey with them and experience, their inability to create a solid home. And even if they could, with a step parent or someone else, or even on their own, it's never the same of actually being in one home. And I think that created a lot of pursuit for me of trying to understand, like, what does it mean to be loved? Is love conditional? Is experiencing love something that you get just because of who you are, or is it something that you have to earn? And that is still something that, as a 46-year-old, I still wrestle with a lot in life. And it all goes back to just some of that security as a kid. Again, wrestling with whether or not something love is something you have or something you earn is not unique to a child of divorce. But I really believe it's where my life was shaped deeply by that, and how that created how I pursued friends and friendships, or how I pursued work and the value of money, how I pursued mentors and pursued experiences, was all about trying to impress someone enough to make me valuable enough where they wouldn't abandon me. As I experienced, the core relationships in my life being wrapped around abandonment. And so, and even, as a young 20 something, trying to pursue my own marriage and my own wife, I did that all through the angle of trying to make myself so valuable to somebody that they would never consider abandoning me, instead of really thinking about who is the best version of me, and how do I become the best version of myself, and then and allowing that best version of myself not to be about you know um, you know how smart I am or how much money I make or all that kind of stuff, but really just how am I emotionally healthy in a way that understands that God loves me, created me very intentionally, and that through that, that I can express my love for God and my love for others, and be secure in that. And that's really, really hard to do. I think our humanity makes it complex for us to do that. And that took me on a pathway of not just in pursuit of marriage, but in pursuit of career, trying to earn love and affection. My own marriage didn't work out, and even some of my early career stuff didn't work out. But over time, I've continued to pursue God and pursue counseling and relationships where I've been able to find a space, to find a place to really deal with my feelings and emotions around that stuff. And I find myself happily married now, 5 kids, great job, but still wrestling with a lot of the trauma and the pain and the hurt from my life, and trying to wrestle with even today, thinking about initiating with another client or an employee or one of my own children, and trying to not only pursue them in a way that is not trying to just prevent abandonment, but also not modeling that for them either, so that they don't continue to live the way that I grew up and the way that I've navigated my early adulthood.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, let us dive into the questions. Okay, the very first one. Can you talk to us about behavioral economics? I don't know if you got that.
Yeah. So behavioral economics is something that we do to think around, like, how will people react and act into the choices and the opportunities that you give them in that space. And so one of the things that we do at work is we kind of pride ourselves on thinking through, like, if we show people this image or if we ask people this question, we can anticipate how they will react. If you think about it, from the behavioral economics, is if I'm going to offer people this opportunity, what behavior will they then do, and how will that change, and how that affects economics is how will that impact your business. The reality is like right now, if I opened up a store where I was selling gold bars for $1, the behavior would be is that everyone would come to
Yeah,
that store and they would
yeah,
buy as many gold bars as I'd let them buy, right? Like I would have no trouble getting customers because the gold bars are worth way more than $1, right? But the economics is that I would go out of business. I can't supply that, whatever. But if I tried to sell gold bars for $1 million, no one would show up, right? Because they're not worth $1 million. And so that makes sense, if understanding is not just the economics of the business proposition, but how people's behavior will react to that. And I think where we've really leaned into in our behavioral economic kind of thought process is that as often as possible, we are trying to eliminate just being one of someone's 1,000 opportunities that they have that day, but we're trying to create psychological ownership of that kind of stuff. And so our thought is where there is ownership, there is predictable action. So our big thesis is right now is that if we can create psychological ownership in this community, in this city, then we can predict that you will care about it, you will vote, you will volunteer, you will donate, you will give back, you will stay in the city and engage. And so we are trying to initiate the behavioral economic response rates by, instead of making this place just an opportunity for you, you actually feel psychological and heartfelt ownership of the community that you live in.
Man, wow. That's so smart of you, I tell you. You're doing a great job. I love that job. Okay. All right. The second question. Do you run a non-profit?
Yes, I do run a nonprofit. So a nonprofit is it's an organization just like a for-profit or just like a government entity or just like whatever, except that its financial status means is that we can make purchases without having to pay taxes. We can own land without having to pay taxes because we are doing something of purpose to make an impact instead of trying to make dollars and money off of it. So if I sell 1,000 t-shirts, it helps fund the good work that we're doing. I don't make extra money based on that process. So I can't ever sell this company like you could some other kind of business. And I'm not doing this for the profit. I have a mission-based process, and so City Leadership is our nonprofit that we run, and it really means that we're not profitable. It means is that our purpose is not for profit. Our purpose is for impact. And so, whereas if I owned a restaurant down the street, a restaurant can be a nonprofit. But most restaurants or stores or businesses are, the purpose is that they do this thing to make an amount of money. We do this thing to make amount of impact, and that allows us a different kind of financial tax status.
Oh, like I said earlier, you're doing a great job, and I really, really love it. You founded City Leadership in 2010, right? So how has it
Yes, I sure
been?
did.
Yeah, how has it been? Would you like to share some stuff with us concerning it? How's the journey been?
Yeah, so we started the organization in 2010. The purpose of City Leadership is to help the good guys do more good, and we specifically focus on the city of Memphis, which is located in Tennessee. And uh, what what we've been trying to do is we try to do what we call proactive consulting or proactive problem solving. And so we identify a problem in our community, and then we try to figure out, okay, what are the root causes of that problem? And then who are the businesses or organizations or people that are working on that root cause? And then we proactively go pursue those organizations, those people. We go knock on their door, we email them, we reach out to them, and we try to identify the people who are making the biggest impact, have the potential to make the biggest impact, or have really high quality strategy or curriculum or those kind of things. And we try to figure out how can we maximize that impact that they're making into a way that allows us to have a bigger impact on our community. And sometimes that's just giving them a better megaphone or catalyzing them with some other organizations, helping them recruit volunteers or staff. And so we've been doing that for 14 years. It's complex work. It gets more complex. And obviously, the longer you do it, you get deeper into it. Sometimes you think about the longer you do it, it gets easier. Well, the longer we've done it, we kind of say is we've kind of moved from checkers to chess. And so things have gotten more complicated. And we've had to get smarter and more creative through that. Things get bigger and they're just more complex. And then, surviving on the other side of COVID is really been complex as well. And so, most organizations don't last this long
Yeah.
and stay healthy and impactful. But we're still here and we're still kicking it. And we plan to be here, maybe not forever. Our goal is not to, necessarily be around forever. Our goal is to figure out how can we make the biggest impact? And if we don't have a vision about how we can be significantly impacting our community, over the next 5 years or 10 years at any given time, then we're going to shut her up and do something else. So
Beautiful. All right, so the last question, John.
Yes, sir.
Let's say there is one piece of advice you love to give to the audience. What would that be? And let's say there are someone's listening right now who would love to reach out to you, learn more about your nonprofit, learn more about you. How can that be possible?
And yeah, I appreciate you asking that question. One of the things that I would say is, one of the things we believe is that everything rises and falls on leadership. And so, you know, what I want you to understand as you're thinking through is if you're trying to build a company or make a difference or create a movement or establish yourself in a certain way, is that you either need to be working closely with the leaders in that field so that you can actually leverage the momentum and the work that they're doing, or you need to be the leader in that space to be able to make that happen. Leaders can create the resources, whether that is time, talent, money, whatever that is, the fuel that's needed for that process. Leaders can turn an idea into reality by connecting those different pieces of that puzzle. And so, I mean, if you have a great idea, but you don't have the leadership skills, you need to find the leader that can make that process happen. If you have resources and capital or a unique product, you need to find the leader that can get that out there. If you are a leader in that space and you care deeply about something, you need to figure out who are the people that have the resources that you can maximize in that space. But everything rises and falls on leadership. And so I'd make that your number one priority of figuring that out. On getting a hold of us, our website is cityleadership.org, cityleadership.org. You can check that out. And we have a really cool website called choose901.com where you can learn more about how you can invest and enjoy your life in Memphis. And so I'd check those two websites out, where you can easily find those on all the social media handles as well. And so reach out and check those out as soon as you get a chance.
Beautiful. Thank you so very much, John. So that's going to be the end of the show. Thank you for your time. Thank you for coming, and thank you for honoring the invite. It means a whole lot. Thank you.
Appreciate you, man. Good luck to you.
Thank you for tuning in to this incredible episode. Your support means the world to us, and we truly value you. We look forward to having you join us for the next episode. If you enjoyed what you heard, please consider rating and reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. Your feedback is greatly appreciated.